on this edition of the program. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Amine. Welcome to Perspectives.
Thank you very much, Nathaniel, and good morning, listeners.
Good morning to you. We also have a young farmer who is the president, Agricultural Graduates Cooperative Society, Mr. Emmanuel Uwua, who is also our guest on the program. Good to have you join us, Mr. Uwua.
Thank you, Nathaniel, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. I think the year is 20 days old already. So
But we are seeing for the first time,
it's
so it's still a new year.
All right, thanks so much for your compliments. Dear listener, thank you for joining us. If you are tuning in for the first time, be informed that the program is audience participatory. Later at 10 o'clock, we allow you to call in. I am Nathaniel Nongu, welcoming you to this edition. Without delay, let me start with you, Dr. Amine. What are the fortunes of young people in the agricultural sector?
Thank you very much, Nathaniel. We have had this conversation over and over, even on this station. Opportunities abide in agriculture. First, as you did introduce, I'm a crop farmer, even though last year harvest wasn't good for me because we had both drought and flood. But first, we were trained as crop farmers, as young people growing up in our villages. And then, while I went to school, I ventured into veterinary medicine and embraced livestock farming. Today, these two farms, when you combine them, you get what we call the balanced diet. So there are opportunities in crop production, there are opportunities in livestock production. In crop production, the farming of the crop, the sale of it, the economy of herbicides and fertilizers, application, labor, mechanization, these are opportunities that one can venture into and get earn a living. Then in livestock too, you have the production aspect of it, you have the marketing aspect of it, you have feed production, you have medical aspect of it, and above all, you also have the advertisement aspect of it, which can be done using different platforms. So for this country, before the advent of oil, we survived solely on agriculture. And for me, we are just retracing our steps and getting back to the areas that we have actually the strength to do better than others. At the moment, we can do actually favorably better in agriculture than other sectors of the economy, where we may not be able to compete with other developed economies. Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Uwua, let me have your thoughts on what you make of the fortunes of the youth in the agricultural sector.
Yes, thank you very much, Nathaniel. Just like Dr. Amine have rightly said, the value chain is very, very long. You can be in production, you can be in processing, you can be in marketing, and you can choose any of the sectors to leverage in if you have the time. Some they do storage. Like currently now, some people are buying cassava chips, they are taking to the company. They are not in the production aspect, they are only in the marketing aspect. So are doing bread, that is processing. So the value chain is very, very long. So youth, if the sector is well tailored and some of the bottleneck in accessing opportunities are done in such a way that it can be flexible for the youth. Because when you are talking about a youth, you are talking about somebody who is young and tender at heart, somebody who is vulnerable. And so anything you are involving then, it should be done in such a way that it will be captivating and they can be easily lured to take interest in it, so that as they grow into it, they will become better and stronger. So the value chain is very long. It's something worth venturing into. Thank you.
All right. Now, Dr. Amine, as I did introduce, last Friday, the Minister of Youth Development, the federal government through the minister, announced the unveiling of Youth Farmers Portal to tackle unemployment and address food insecurity in the country. To what extent are you giving this initiative by the government?
I am very, very optimistic that if the policy is genuine and the political will is there to support it 100%, we can take many people off the street. And I say that with all sincerity and sense of responsibility because as one who has benefited from the agricultural sector, enthusiastic about going into crop required support to do so. Very tedious task. And for a graduate, one may not be willing to use the manual or the traditional system of farming. But if given the good enabling environment with the necessary mechanization tools, most of the agricultural graduates will be willing to put into practice what they have studied over the years. What has been the discouragement is one, having access, and let me quickly say, not just having access to either land or mechanization or finance. Many times, the people hopes are raised in programs such as this, and midway or somewhere along the line, the program ends abruptly, or it is being hijacked, or somehow it does not get the right people. And that is why I'm excited to an extent that we are using technology to do this capture. I would have thought that this process would be driven either by Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security or Ministry of Livestock Development that is newly created, because these are the people who are directly involved in agriculture. But now that it is being done by the Ministry of Youth, the chances are that the data generated will have to be transferred to another ministry, and government and bureaucracies, it now involves a lot of time, and farming is a time-bound thing, right? We are doing the registration here in January. It is expected that if the focus is on crop farming, that process should end as soon as possible. People should be shortlisted. What exactly they are going to benefit should be determined before the rainy season returns. Because at the moment, we do more of seasonal farming, at least here in Benue State that I know, more than dry season farming. We had experimented dry season farming at the time I was secretary of Teima Nigeria Limited. It's more expensive. It's also more profitable though, if you're able to produce from start to finish and you harvest your product. You're going to sell them relatively higher than what you get after the rainy season. So I have very high expectations of this program, and it is my hope that Benue youths will participate in it fully and take advantage of this opportunity to be self-sufficient and self-reliant from the agricultural sector. Remember that even at the state level here, we are looking forward to having a lot of transformation in agriculture. And if you see our people, I was in a village yesterday for a mass, and the young people that have returned to the farm to an extent, many of them came back, and the normal thief man giza in church, yes, asking somebody to sit down with 1,000, and the person said, no, I cannot sit down with 2,000. And this thing became something else, and a lot of people were interested. And I told my friend, this is what we grew up in the villages knowing, not the aspect where you wake up and find someone who is short of transport from one point to another. So I believe strongly that if we return to our farms and the government is interested, and if the government show real interest, then government should be able to also address the issues that affect farmers, which is one of which is the clashes. And then government should be able to also prepare land for these young people, because land preparation is actually a difficult and very capital-intensive task, without which the commercial agriculture may not be possible, because you have these lands to be cleared so that tractors can work on them, harvesters can work on them. But if you allow the farmers and the young graduates and the youths to go and clear the land themselves, the program may be ineffective and it may not succeed. Thank you.
All right. Now, Mr. Uwua,
Yes.
let's look at this plan, this portal again. Like we mentioned earlier, the minister announced that it is part of initiative of the Nigerian Youth Economic Engagement and De-radicalization Program. And according to him, the scope is aimed at generating 6 million direct jobs for youth in 2025 across agriculture and agro-allied sectors. To what extent, if the enrollment of young farmers, as the Ministry of Youth Development said they are enrolling, to what extent would this alone give youth address unemployment challenges in the country?
Yes, this is a very welcome development. In short, it's a doctrine of necessity at this very moment. For the Ministry of Youth of getting out of this scenario of youth restiveness and unemployment, it is very, very important because agriculture is a sector that has a very large value chain. And it's a sector that has a multiplier effect of, you see, within 3 months, if you plant rice, for instance, within 3 months, you can be a millionaire. So it's not something that you are waiting for a very long time for you to be able to have to increase your financial status. So it's very, very important. However, before now, we have had programs tailored in this way based on youth. So like I said earlier, youths are young at heart, are people who the government really needs to ensure that programs that involve them are tailored in a very captivating way. Bottlenecks are reduced to a very minimal level so that they can be able to embrace it and make the best use of it. So I applaud the minister and what we are looking at, just like my colleague Dr. Amine just said. When these informations are got, they should not be kept in one corner. They are being done in Ministry of Youth. At the end of the day, they may need expertise from the Ministry of Agriculture, or maybe they may entirely transfer the data bank to the Ministry of Agriculture. So the big question is, how is the Ministry of Agriculture prepared to partner with the Ministry of Youth? Is there any preparedness before now, behind the scene, before this initiative is being brought to the fore? Or the Ministry of Youth will be doing it as an in-house activity? But by and large, it's a welcome development, and the effect, if well implemented, has serious multiplier effect. Before, in 6 months' time, before December, most of the youth will be smiling to the bank. They will be self-employed. Some of them can also set up their own farms, depending on the amount of resources and how they are able to follow the right agronomic practices, because these things too comes into play. Maybe if we give an input, how are you putting the extension in order to guide the youths so that they will do the right thing, so that they will get value for what they are being given? Because it's just like agriculture is just like the health sector. Take a patient to the farm, to the hospital, and the doctor will check, go for result. There are nurses there who are also checking on the patient to see how he's doing. So when you give the youth this kind of opportunity, there are a lot of things that need to be put in place, like extension services to guide them, to ensure that they don't get tired on the way. By doing this 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, the youth will now know how to do it by themselves, maybe even without extension. They can form clusters, maybe cooperatives, that they can be teaching themselves, sharing knowledges, and it will go a long way to help them. But above all, our prayer is the political will from the government. It should not be a paper thing. After collecting, we go a long way in solving the issues of youth unemployment and restiveness. Thank you.
All right. Dear listener, if you are just tuning in, you are listening to Perspectives on Agate Radio 95.5 Star FM, Makudi, Benue State. We are discussing addressing youth unemployment through agriculture. And I have here in the studio two discussants who are leading the conversation. At 10 o'clock, the line through which you can participate on the program is 0814-335-9292. The line, once again, is 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the line which is available for you to contribute through SMS or WhatsApp is 0912-699-9404. The number, once again, is 0912-699-9404. You may log onto our website on www.agateradio.tv.com to listen to us and access other content of Agate Radio as well. We are available on Radio Garden and on social media platforms where our content is streaming. You can also download the Agate Radio and TV app from Google Play Store, a one-stop app which avails you the platform of our newspaper online, television online, and radio as well. We can serve you on these platforms beyond boundaries. Please join us to be a part of this conversation. Now, Dr. Amine, as stated earlier, according to the program, that it aims to offer agricultural training, modern farming techniques, mentorship opportunities, and financial support for starting or expanding agricultural ventures. To what extent are the youth exposed to mentorship and financial opportunities to boost their participation in the agricultural sector? What do you say?
You know, whether we like it or not, society has changed drastically. And before now, somebody can decide to come to Agate Radio and stay here for a year or two without expecting payment. And you'll just be mentored by either Nathaniel or the head of news. And the person would just want to learn how to become a broadcaster or a radio personality. Those times have slightly changed. One of the things that you left out during introduction is to state that I'm a master of ceremony like hey, that I want to come and learn how to be a master of ceremony, which is one of the easiest things to do for me if the talent is there. And in the next instance, they are telling you they wanted to come for the event, but they don't have transportation, and that if you can make that arrangement for them. So one begins to wonder who is learning from who and who is getting what. Now, this problem is not also far from the agricultural mentorship. If you want someone to come and learn how to raise broilers under your care, what the interest more is what you're going to pay them to learn what you're teaching them. Nobody is willing to pay you to teach them how to raise birds, how to grow pigs, how to rear cattle, especially if this person is also of high Western education training, like who's a first degree or even a master's degree or somehow maybe a diploma, NCE. This is because the cost of living is astronomically high at the moment. And so you cannot blame the individual completely. For him or her to get to your location to be able to get this training, a lot is required, transportation, feeding, and all of those. So it's a big challenge. And if government is talking about training, these areas have to be considered with all sincerity, because we no longer live in the era where we can trek long distances. And I say that sharing a thought with an elder someday, and the man told me, why will you be carrying your child to school? When they were going to school, they used to trek. I said, Oga, there were no traffic. If you allow your 5-year-old child to trek to school, you may end up in the hospital, being knocked down by a motorcycle or something. You know, so these things are natural things that have to be considered. So the mentorship, then another problem is the problem of trust. I've attended seminars where senior professional colleagues complained about young people not being patient to be mentored, not being trustworthy to be mentored, and all of those. But I think it is possible to train someone to be trustworthy. So mentorship, yes, I welcome that, and I think it's one of the easiest way to become an expert, because mentorship and apprenticeship is hands-on, and you'll be able to do that with your thought because you see the person teaching you do it himself or herself. And if government makes provision for it, as it is done here, and I keep emphasizing the will, because in the past we have seen programs. In fact, I have attended a seminar that was supposed to be for 5 days, and getting to the venue, the organizers simply summarized the whole thing into 2 days, and asked people to. And one of the days was arrival, the other day was departure. After all, okay. And so I sat down. We were making some analysis, and I said the organizers of this program actually wanted a 5-day program so that we can come here and rest, familiarize, get ready to know what we are here for, and the next day we'll have the classes and get all that done properly. And this is very common with government programs. You know, the implementers are not necessarily the designers of the program, and so the implementation usually may not turn out to be what it is anticipated to be. So be that as it may, we cannot fold hands and stay back. So we welcome this, and we encourage that this should be implemented fully to the extent that the impact will be felt and the aim will be achieved in the end. For those of us in research, before you set out for a project, you state the problem. Now the problem has been identified that youths are not interested in farming. And as a matter of fact, if you introduce yourself as a farmer in certain circles, people tend to think that you don't have much to offer. And, and because farming involves a lot of things, sometimes the farmers appear quite simple, even though they may have more money than the other people that are working. But they appear quite simple. So when somebody says he's a farmer, the common thing is to think that this person is a village person and this person doesn't have much. But if they tell you what they get, a bag of rice was sold 100 and something thousand this year, and a hectare could give you more than 10 bags. That's like 1 million. So anybody not earning up to, if somebody have 3 hectares of rice, for example, and had 30 bags of rice, and anybody not earning up to 150,000 shouldn't be talking to that person.
Yes.
And besides, apart from this, he will feed better. He's not buying the food, he's getting it fresh from his farm, and if you test a paddy that is produced this year and that of last year, the taste is simply not the same. That's why some of these palliatives that people received, and of course I did receive too last year, even though it was graded. If you fetch the rice and look at it, you will know that this rice has lasted for more than a year, 2, 3. They may be older than your children. And if you cook it, the taste is not the same. So crop farming should be encouraged, livestock farming should be encouraged. And if you farm this yourself, you know what you're giving. For those of us that are in livestock too, if I am raising broilers for table, as a veterinarian, I observe withdrawal period. I don't give antibiotics, and necessarily I don't give this, I don't give that, and I know what I am consuming. But if you go to the market and buy, you really can't tell, because we don't even go to the labs to check antimicrobial residues in these animals. So I encourage mentorship. I pray that that aspect of it should be there, because someone who is not mentored into farming can just get some money and say he's going to farm 100 hectares of rice for the first season without knowing the level of fertility of that soil that he is going to work on. And then he takes huge sums of money and sink there. The next year, he's not able to come out with anything, and he gets terribly discouraged. And sometimes these are done using loans. So the financiers will be everywhere looking for you, And we'll be tell you if it's an online bank that you took the loan. They can just get your number and bring it to Agate Radio. I know you won't do that, but they will just be calling people and say this person is a fraudster. They call you all sort of names. And so we need mentorship so that if you want to go into agriculture, the first year you do small, check it out, look at the process, learn it, then you begin to expand. And I'm sure this is common with other businesses too, not just agriculture.
All right. Now, Mr. Uwua, let's move away from that plan by the government and look at some of the issues. In your opinion, what are the major challenges facing young farmers in Nigeria? You are a young farmer yourself, so give us insights into the world of young farmers and the challenges.
Thank you. You see, agriculture, to some persons, they feel is a very, very easy sector. It's not an easy sector. It's how you are able to start from the land preparation, which is studious, capital intensive, and how you can access finance if you are a new startup, how you can get maybe zero interest loans, and so that you can start. Because most of these young people, they are fresh graduates. They don't even have a piece of land to be able to get to serve as collateral, or even maybe their big brothers are even afraid to even show that them standing in as their guarantors to get finance. And also getting land too is also an issue now. Like candidly in my village, I wanted to get an additional 2 hectares. I could not get it in my village. As far as in Balong, I could not, because people have interest, people have developed interest. So there are areas that government needs to open up. There are lands that have been moribund for a very long time. People have not been there, maybe due to insecurity or other factors. Government needs to take tractors and open up very large expanse of land, and maybe even one youth to a hectare, and guide them, weather uncertainty. So it's a sector that I've said, and be able to settle your access to finance, land, climate, and also the general bottleneck in accessing loans, maybe interest-free loans. Government can just let's give interest-free loan to people from 18 to 35 years so that we can encourage them. Maybe they will support you for a hectare this year. If you do well, you are able to bring back the repayment plan, they can extend it to 2 hectares, 3 hectares. So maybe in a 2 to 3 years plan, you can be able to stand on your feet. You don't need any financer again. You can go and start on your own. In the issue of technical know-how too, it's an issue. You see, most of these international organizations, they come, they give their support and go. I always call government, because government is just like soldier come, soldier go, barrack still remain. Government remains the barrack. International organizations are just like soldiers. They just come, chop support, and go. So what is the government really doing to keep the youth in check? Look at extension. If you go to the villages now, even per council ward, the government cannot tell you that this is the extension that is attached to maybe Walomayo council ward or Mbasombo council ward. They cannot tell you. So all these things are affecting the youth. They don't have anybody to serve as their guide, their support system, somebody who will be talking to them, who will be answering questions. There are some questions that you don't even need to come to Makurdi. The issue of transport. This extension should be domiciled in the villages, in each council ward. They should be close to the youth, be answering their questions, their challenges, motivating them. So a lot needs to be done, from technical know-how to government support, because to be candid, I even see international organizations supporting even more than the government, who are supposed to be the barrack. So we need to change our attitude. Government should step up.
All right. When you mention international organizations supporting more than the government, how do you have access to the international organizations and their direct support to young farmers?
Yes, currently, if you could be hearing of a program, WOFAN, yes. WOFAN Icon 2. And this is the 3rd year that they will be implementing in Benue. Benue is one of the catchment areas that have been selected. It's sponsored by MasterCard Foundation. So they give six bags of fertilizer, 50 kg of rice, and other herbicides to the farmers. This is for free. Let me say it's for free, so that they can be able to improve their means of livelihood. It is what is happening currently. Sure, they just did their onboarding in Abuja, then they'll be going down to step that they are doing sensitization currently in Makurdi now. Can you show me a viable government platform that the rain is coming very soon? Any government program that is ongoing, preparing for the rainy season? There's nothing like that. What we have been hearing is paperwork. But there are viable activities of international organizations to show that, and WOFA is currently doing that.
All right. That's okay. Now, Dr. Amine, let me also have you weigh in on the challenges facing young farmers in this area. What are some of them that you like to point out, and maybe how we can address them?
If you look at the population in the urban areas, apart from those that are currently in school, we have a lot of people who had left the villages. So insecurity is a big challenge. For a cycle of year, at least for 2024, people went to their farms, many people were able to harvest uninterruptedly, and it's commendable that to an extent a lot of people were able to go to their farms and deliver. But even at that, many people are still very skeptical because there are still pockets of violence here and there, and some people killed. So the fear is you wouldn't know who will be the victim and how and when this might come up. So insecurity is still a challenge. That's number one. Number two, land preparation. Land preparation is a problem. Some of the organizations, like he mentioned, that want to support agriculture, they want to support the agricultural setting at the level of clusters. And for you to have 5-10 hectares in one place, you require to clear the land, bring down trees, remove stumps, remove earth-moving equipment. That is not being done at the moment. And let me say here too that sometimes in 2018-19 thereabout, even when the crisis was very hot, herders know that any portion of land that is big and well cleared belongs to the government, and they actually avoid it. It's a way of reducing insecurity also. Another thing is the issue of lack of mechanization. You know, once the land is not cleared, you rely on the locals to help you till the land, or you resort to what they call zero tillage. Sorry, not zero grazing, zero tillage.
No tillage.
Anyway, we can understand with you as a livestock farmer, you're interested in grazing your animal too.
Yes. So, and for me, the zero tillage is just ineffective. I've seen, because your rice germinate, for example, then water will be taking over the bed and new grass will not be able to germinate. But here, we do not have constant rainfall. In areas where you can have such kind of condition, you're likely going to face flood. So it's not, for me, it's not a good system to practice. Then we also have lack of access roads. There are places you will farm, and at some point you cannot access the farm. And if you are using the early generation, the short lifespan seeds, like the ones that take 90 days, 80 days thereabout, they may get to the stage of harvest that you may not be able to easily access your farm. It also increases the cost. Now, where you cannot easily access is even more dangerous. If you have a security breach, getting out of those areas or getting help becomes a problem. So young people wouldn't want to do that, because even though the life expectancy of Nigerians may not be as high as those in the West, we still want to live it to the full. You don't want your life cut short because you're engaged in agriculture. That's another thing. And then the middleman factor at some point, but for now, that we have people coming directly to weigh, that has reduced. So the people in the weighing, like my younger brother is not always very comfortable with the kg system. He keeps complaining that when they weigh, if you check, we are still trying to resolve that. Because the bag of rice that you go and shake in it coming at 130 something kg at times. And the money is eventually more than the other one. So I don't know, but some farmers still don't like it. That's the truth. So it's been a problem. So there is need for sensitization. That's why the training aspect is important. And the training will not be limited to only those who are going to agriculture. Even those that are buying, they need to explain to people sufficiently to understand. Let there be an understanding between the producer, the buyers, the processors. But let me tell you, if you process, you even get more money. At the moment, we don't have the best of processing. Yeah, but at least we have a major company that processes rice, and we also have some small mills that process rice. But what about other crops? This registration, we need to also be clear on it. Is it an all farmers registration? Is there a commodity that the Ministry of Youth is targeting, or is there a particular subsector, or is all encompassing? We need to understand, because sometimes after putting in effort, energy, and applying, government comes up with screening and say, no, we're handling only people in rice, and it discourages people. Subsequently, when you call for such applications, some people wouldn't want to go there and do those applications. So these are challenges. He talked about extension. Extension service is a problem. It's a big problem, really. Last week, also the week before last, we actually had an interface in the university where the Vice Chancellor was telling us that one of the core values of the Joseph Sawan Taka University is supposed to be extension service. We develop a process, a technology in the lab, and then give our extension workers to take to the farms. That has not been really so. It has not really been so. So the technologies that we are developing are really not getting to the farmers, so to speak. What I see is some agricultural companies trying to promote their products, trying to go to the hinterlands to show the people that this our product is better than that product, so use this product. And they try to demonstrate. I participated in demo farms, and I have seen, when they see the difference, they actually embrace it. And it tells me that if I go to the village and tell my people that, look, if you vaccinate your animals against PPR or Newcastle disease, what we call AMOA, and the next year you don't lose any animal to this disease, okay? Then they have more added to it, and they sell and they make profit. Then they can look for me the next year. The same thing applies to crop farming. The advent of herbicides and the chemicals has really changed the orientation of people. But these herbicides also have consequences. If you take their leaflets and read, they will tell you, do not do this, do not do that. All of those things farmers don't keep to. And I can really say that with all sense of responsibility, that you are supposed to wear coverall if you want to spray. Yes. You're supposed to wear glasses. You're supposed to cover your hair, wear boots, let the clothes be outside the boot so that the chemical doesn't get to your skin. And you're not supposed to eat or smoke or drink or do this. When you finish, you take milk and all that. My brother, the people that spray chemical in the farm, they just spray one jerrycan, without wearing nothing. You know, so if you tell them, you say, they were nothing, quiet guys, we have been doing this thing for years. But this carcinogenic stuff, is the long time accumulation. By the time you come down with the disease, you may not even be able to trace it. Some of the chemicals affect the soil. Some of the chemicals, you know, if you see you're killing one grass, it's not dying, you now mix. And the next thing, you find one very resistant grass. The same way we're having antimicrobial resistance that has become a major problem in the health sector. You go to the hospital, they give you paracetamol. No, not paracetamol. Maybe tetracycline. And you take it. It's supposed to cure a particular thing for you. It doesn't. You need to go and take maybe chloramphenicol, or you take another antibiotic like that. There is resistance because of improper usage. And the same thing is happening. Some chemicals you will see on the body of the label use 100 mils per 16 liters of water. The farmer will go and say the thing, they work like that. Either they use 50 or use 150 or 300, or they just formula. I don't know where they get those formulas.
Yes, well.
That's because maybe the normal dosage is no longer working. You know, so these are the challenges. There is no proper education before venturing into some of the new practices and technologies. Just like giving a tractor to somebody who doesn't know how to drive it. And I say, no, it's a new technology, go and drive. You know where you drive it to now. You just drive it wherever you go. So those are the challenges. And of course, money, finance is a problem. I listened to one motivational speaker yesterday, and he was saying money is not the problem. If you have a good idea, you're committed to it. The reason money is not a problem is because you'll be willing to start small and be patient for it to grow. If you take that factor away, you cannot just say money is not needed. Though.
Yeah.
You know, so those are the challenges. I think there may be more. Those are the ones I can remember at the moment, and I think
when you mentioned you listened to a motivational speaker, as a livestock farmer, maybe I was expecting you to tell us. He told you he started his livestock poultry with a feather.
exactly.
Because we hear a lot of it like from inspirational speaker. Well, that's okay, dear listener. It's about time for us to engage with you at 10 o'clock. You can call in on 0814-335-9292. The number to participate on the program, once again, is 0814-335-9292. In the meantime, the line available for SMS, and you can also utilize it on WhatsApp, is 0912-699-9404. 0912-699-9404. We'll take a short breather, and when we're back, we'll start engaging with you. Kindly stay with us. welcome back from that short break, dear listener, and thank you for staying with us on Perspectives. If you are just tuning in, the discussion is focused on addressing youth unemployment through agriculture. We are basing our discussion on that, drawing from the recent pronouncement by the Federal Ministry of Youth Development about enrollment of young farmers. Our panelists here in the studio, I have with me a crop and livestock farmer who is the state chairman, Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association, Benue State Chapter, Dr. Andrew Amine, and of course the another young farmer, Uwua. You can call in on 0814-335-9292. Once you connect with us, we'd like to know your name and where you are calling in from. Then you make your submission. Kindly keep it very brief. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Good morning to you. My name is Chaku Jeremiah from Guma Local Government.
The name is who?
Chaku Jeremiah from Guma Local Government.
Chaku Jeremiah.
Yes.
Okay, which part of Goma are you reaching us from?
I'm from Kambe, precisely. Kambe Council Ward.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Jeremiah.
My own is a welcome development. To put it in action, it will be a problem. If they do it well, it will go a long way in taking off some of us off the street. If you see the level of unemployment in Nigeria is somehow alarming, and something proper needs to be done to help alleviate such to youth. So my point is that if they do it, they should do it with full mind, and they should not take it to children of ministers, president. They should take it to rural areas. We need it in rural areas more than in urban areas. So that is my point.
All right.
And second is, this security is something that is ravaging this. They should take note and do something concerning it. Because if the program is being implemented and we cannot go to our farms, it will be useless. Because land is a major factor in agriculture. We cannot farm without agriculture and land. So we need to be properly protected by the security before we venture into farming. Thank you. That's my point.
Thank you, Jeremiah. We appreciate you for calling in. Thanks. Okay, the genuine beneficiaries, you get it. Thank you very much for your opinion. And Jeremiah is also wondering whether the genuine people will benefit it and not the children of ministers. Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning. Okay, well, lost connection with you. Your voice is not coming through. 0814-335-9292. Good morning and welcome to Perspectives.
Was Audu.
Hello, good morning. What did you say your name is?
I say my name is Taveshuma Audu.
Okay.
I'm calling from Logo local government area, precisely Ayilamo town.
Oh, good to have you. How is Ayilamo this morning, Audu?
It's cool, sir.
Okay.
But here in Ayilamo and Tombo Council, precisely, it is only in Ayilamo town that people are residing. At the outskirts, the Fulani insecurity issue is ravaging, and it's affecting agriculture. We want the government to be decisive about insecurity because the issue is lingering. A lot of farmers were not able to harvest their farms because of the Fulani issue, and it's a disturbing something. If the government will be able to address the issue of insecurity, trust me, most people don't even need to rely on the government for support or for funding. They can set.
Hello, Tavishima?
And
yes.
Sir?
Go on.
Yes,
Yes.
and they can be able to sell their produce and reinvest in their farming. But the issue of insecurity is so much disturbing. The government should do something about it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Davishima.
Okay.
We pray government should find solution to the issue of insecurity. Quite a sorry situation he has painted in Agilamo. Well, our intervention we pray should come. Good morning and welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning. My name is Daniel. I'm calling from Modern Market area.
Okay, thank you, Ezra, for joining us.
Yes, I'm the president.
Hello.
I'm calling from Modern Market.
Okay, Victor, the network in Modern Market seems to be breaking, and we are not able to get you very well.
I think you are getting right.
Yeah, could you change your position and let's see if we'll hear you well.
Thank you very much. And I thank those who are in the studio,
Hello, Victor.
the agricultural experts.
Oh, the network is still. Hello, Victor.
You want to get
Okay, I'm sorry, Victor. You may try to connect with us back. We really cannot get you, and it's unfortunate, but that's okay. The line is still available. Hello, good morning. Once you connect with us, please move away from your radio set.
Hello, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for.
I hope I'm
joining.
on to Adult Radio, right?
Yes.
And in fact, I'm so much interested in that such a program, and I appreciate you for bringing such program on table.
Thank you. May we know your name and where you're
I'm
calling from?
Solomon Tioga calling from Makodi, precisely at Nyon area.
Okay, Solomon, speak to us.
Yes. Sir, we have a very big issue on ground here in Benue State. It's hitting us hard. No one can even claim that he's not aware of it, but that is what we're having. We are having issue of insecurity, particularly at the border areas where people used to produce food. Let me say agriculture, this are coming down to the rural areas. Those people have been attacking time without numbers, without government intervening. You see, in some other areas, they allow the youth to fight, but they cannot do it. And in the other hand, they are trying to fight back at those guys, which is even against the government. Government cannot allow them to fight in those people. And it's not, and it's even wrong for them to fight. But government is not, it's not even giving, government is keeping deaf ears about it. I heard one guy, somebody called from a Yelamon thereabout. These are the areas where people produce farm. This is where farm products are used to come out seriously. But now, they are even buying it. Villagers are buying food here in Benue. Does this mean the government here in Benue is trying very much, but in the area of security, we are recording zero. It's very bad. Please, government should do something about it.
Okay. Thank you, Solomon. We appreciate you for calling in.
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Yet again, the issue of insecurity. Anyway, why the insecurity is on, government will be making the efforts, and we hope that they should also key into programs when they come from federal government. Hello, good morning. So how can our young people take advantage of what the federal government is proposing? Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives. Hello. Hello, good morning. Okay, you are on, but your voice is not coming through to us. Please, we have to disconnect with you. But we are still available if you are able to make efforts to connect with us. Good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Tewa Sekwanjisa. I'm calling from High Level.
Good to have you join us, Kwangishi.
Main is an issue, it's kind of more of a complaint. It's an issue of politicization of government programs. They will bring a program and it will sound so interesting, and everybody will, be interested in, killing into such programs. But one, even where to go and register, how to go about it, it's always very difficult. So if they can guide us properly, it's a welcome development. There is nothing more than agriculture. Even it means only to eating. They don't need something else. So they should show us or guide us how we will follow up and be able to register with people too. And they should not play politics with it. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Kwangishi. Thank you. All right, government should not play politics with this current program about enrolling young farmers. People should be guided. Maybe before we conclude
Hello.
Should be able to. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning, Ezalupe, back online.
Oh, good to have you join us back, Ezra Lupe.
Yes, as other callers are saying, I think most of this program, I wonder why it looks as if they come to radio to just tell us that this is what is going. We never see that on the street. We never see that happening. And just as we were complaining, issue of insecurity is a very big problem. In my place now, these people will wait when farmers farm. During harvest time, they will come with the issue of insecurity.
And where is this your place? Because you are already a legend. Let's know this is your place so that.
Yes, I am from Kwande local government.
Okay.
So you find out that these people will come and it's happening. So I do imagine why I am a president of young farmers. I find out where I can get some of these policies that they are always here on radio. You can't see them anywhere. And when you want to even involve, some would just tag you as a political opponent or something of that nature. So I will advise the governor or whoever is sponsoring some of this progress to monitor them, because people will not do what you ask them to do, but when you supervise them, I think they will be able to do it. So I'm calling on government to concentrate on insecurity. Without the life of these people, that nobody can farm. And most of these youth, they prefer to even go and commit crime at once and make millions of naira than to go and suffer in the farm. So they must.
Ezra.
Yes.
Where we shouldn't be, we shouldn't be found to be denigrating our youth. So to say most of the youths go to commit crime, don't you think we're
rewarding some of this one? They celebrate most of them. That is one thing that is even painful. It is very rare you see punishment.
Don't you think if the youth are gainfully engaged through the agriculture sector, some may not take to crime?
That is true, and that is why I was even complaining that most of these programs of the government, they are not visible. You can only hear them on the radio. You don't know where to go and see them. Go to Ministry of Agriculture, they will direct you elsewhere. So this has been going on year in, year out. All of us have been born and brought up in the States here. So I wonder why it sounds, yes.
Okay, thank you, Audison. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. But we should make it clear, this one is an initiative of the federal government. It's not of the state government. So keying into it is what we hope that our discussion will steer, not just to bring confusion. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning, Nathan, Nongu.
Thank you for joining
in the house. Good morning, guests in the house.
Thank you.
Thank you for me joining the first edition of Perspective this year. I don't know whether they have, as this year starts, they have already anchored it, but me, this is my first time of contribution.
Okay, let's know your name.
Okay. My name is Tefa S.K. Kiluke, calling from KN Kano, northwest part of Nigeria this morning.
Okay, good to have you join us, Tefa.
Thank you for answering this program.
Thank you.
You see, many years now, the nation in general, not some states, we are battling with insecurity. And this thing has caused a lot of problems, both social, economical, and the welfare of the populace. Someone will not sleep with two eyes closed. Every day you wake up, go online, newspaper, radio, you hear unknown government, banditry, kidnapping people, the masses. But yet, we are still experiencing this thing. To me, if government, federal government, the state government, they can shift their attention now, mainly attention on for this issue of insecurity. I think we have a better, with free-minded now. Even travelers, if you are traveling now, you'll be prayerful. It's only the high class, because they always fly on the air. But with the average, you cannot travel on the road. That you can reach to your destination without prayer. So to me, government, let us do something urgent, or this thing has been crippled most of human activities. I think by that we have a better nation. That is my take this morning.
All right. Thank you, Tefa, for your opinion.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay. We want our young people to take advantage of this program. So let's also hear how they can. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining us. This sounds like some familiar voice, but let me
Yes,
not
that
pray.
is Brother Mekoji from Murphy Watata.
Okay, Emeka, thank you for joining us on the program.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Nongu and the guests in the house.
Thanks so much.
Okay, my own area of contribution or question is that the agricultural sector is agriculture. I would say it's one of the oldest occupation our Creator gave us. Because if you look at the scripture very well, it talks so much about agriculture. Now in our modern distance, so many things are being introduced into it. For example, the area I'm looking at is this chemical and herbicides. Sometimes I read in the paper or hear in the news that our product, when it is exported, is rejected because of too much chemicals and all that. So I want the guests in the house also to throw more light on this. Why is it that we use all these things? The Weibo man, we bring them to us, they convince us, we buy them, we use them, then they will reject our food based on that. Then that's number one. Then when we come to the poultry side or animal husbandry side, the same thing is also applicable. There are so many things that are added into the chicken feed and cow feed that leads to problem from time to time. We hear of foot and mouth disease, and when it is analyzed, sometimes they trace it to adding certain things in their feeding that are not supposed to be there. Like for example, my wife recently got involved in this poultry something, and I saw that they say there's something they call blood meal in the chicken feed, and all this periwinkle and all those things. So why are they using blood? But
Yeah, so you should
so
be
I want
able
him
to
to
help
throw
us
more
understand.
light, leading to some. Culture is good, but it should be done in such a way that it will not pose additional harm to our health. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Emeka Oji, for calling. All right, we anyway. Let's get the discussion into engaging the young people in terms of employment. How can the agriculture sector be viable in this area? Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives. Hello, good morning. Okay, you are on, but your voice is not coming through. Maybe you're not speaking or the network, but the line is still available. If you're able to connect with us, that'll be fine. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, yet again we have the same network challenge. Okay, let's take some messages before we come back to the calls. This one says, good morning. This one says, thanks Agate Radio for your immediate response to this newly started program. Thanks to your esteemed guests in the studio. In Nigeria, only the uninformed gets excited about youth programs like this. The story of NISA is so fresh on the minds of young people that it's difficult not to imagine that another massive scan is leading. Okay, could it be described as a scam? I don't think so. As your guest already noted, the program is being floated by the Ministry of Youth, but it's purely agri initiative. We have not been told how the data will not be compromised midway towards implementation. Secondly, we are not aware yet how state ministries of youth and agri will be involved. In Nigeria, data collection, whether online or in hard copy, is no longer an assurance of serious implementation. If I have any advice to give, it is to suggest that the Federal Ministry of Agri should quickly link up with active youth organizations across the 36 states so that coordination, monitoring, and feedback can be done on day-by-day basis. This way, no state or community will be left behind. Thank you, my dear professors and hosts. Okay, we do not have professors here, but anyway, the university scholar is there, so generally they call them professors. So maybe it's a future professor. This is Dr. Sam Abba Oglewu Ohimini. local government area. Thank you very much for your message, Dr. Abba. We appreciate you for your contribution. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining us on Perspectives.
Thank you for so much for the wonderful program.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, we emphasize on government, emphasizing on government, because we're supposed to be struggling. Some refuse to even struggle. When you struggle, somebody may help you. But some are refuse to even struggle. When you talk about government. Government cannot come and just give you something like that. You know, for my own suggestions, I know that government is supposed to help, but we're supposed to help ourselves.
Okay, so
when you are doing something,
Tengu.
Yeah.
Yes. So tie this to our discussion. So the government should not help to engage young people through agricultural sector or what?
They should help, but so relax. They're not even struggling. When you struggle a little bit, somebody help you go further. You understand me?
Okay.
That's what I mean. Government should do something about security. That one is possible because that will help a lot. You know, there's some areas that you cannot be able to go and farm there. That is the only situation. No, don't even say that government should empower waiting, and those. Just emphasize on government should make sure that security is there.
Okay.
So that everything will be all right.
All right. Thank you, Tengu. Thank you, Abraham, for your opinion. Well, this is perspectives, so everybody come with different opinion and
different perspectives.
Hello. Yes, speak to us. Okay, Achimi Joel, the network in Okpiligu seem to be breaking. Hello, Achimi.
Hello.
Achimi, stop. Oh, Achimi, speak on. You are on. Oh, Achimi, sorry. Well, the line is available. We want to hear from Okpiligu too. So.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to Perspectives.
Yes, my name is actually Stephen Tagaman, calling from my level.
Thank you, Stephen.
Yes, it is a welcome development. First, agriculture is a field that takes time for one to realize the profits from the business. In the part of government needs to be deliberate because most of the time these programs are brought forth to empower those who follow them during campaigns. So the re-implementation sometimes is not actually done the way it's supposed to. So I advise the government to be deliberate so that the youth can be empowered and be taken off of the streets. Thank you.
Okay, so Stephen, you believe this particular initiative too is aimed to empower those that followed them during campaigns?
Yes, because in previous years, programs like this were brought forth by the government, but implementation was very poor. Very, very poor. Because we did one. I think in 2020 we did one program like that. We were giving some devices to capture farmers around Nigeria. But when it comes to giving the benefit to the farmers that were supposed to benefit, it didn't reach out to the farmers. So most of the times, government brought forth these programs to empower those that follow them actually, because the people who are in charge now to coordinate it, they'll be giving some stipends. They will mobilize them actually to go to the field and do the job. So it's a sort of empowerment to them, I think so. But if government is deliberate now to handle it, it will go a long way to take off some youth off the street. Because agriculture is the only field that can take thousands off the street within a year or even 3 months. So there are some sectors that are farming this in areas that you can invest in 3 months, you can earn a reasonable amount of money. Because most of the times when these programs are brought forth, they are farmers. And agriculture enough for the rural people.
All right.
So we just pray so that this should be done in a different way. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you very much. Okay, Stephen has his own skepticism about the program. I don't know whether federal government will look out for select persons across the entire Nigeria and just those that follow them during campaigns. But that's okay. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for joining Perspective.
This Abraham Kingu, I'm back. You know,
Abraham, we allow you just 30 seconds. You are a second-time caller.
Okay. You know why I'm little a bit angry is this. Like the last was saying, we suffer to do all those things so that government will empower the youth. You will see that we will not see anything. They will tell that something like this is going on. When you think that it will help you, you will not see anything. That is why it's as if I'm angry.
Don't be angry. Yeah. Don't be angry. Thank you. Thank you, Abraham. Don't be angry. The government, the house. Citizens have a right to be angry anyway. But when we have programs coming up like this, we should try then and see the end result before we will be angry. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Thank you for joining us on Perspectives. Hello. Good morning. Okay, you're on, but okay. I think let's pause the calls temporarily and come back to you. Dr. Amine, we'll begin with the concern raised by your friend Emeka Oji. Emeka Oji is worried about livestock handling. He mentioned some of the concerns about animal field, whether you listened to him.
Yeah, I did.
Speak to his concerns.
He spoke about, he was particularly worried about blood meal.
Yes.
And it suggests that his wife is compounding her feed herself and giving to the animal. That's the only time she would need to have bone meal, feed, blood meal, energy source, and all that. This blood and bone meal thing is the protein aspect of what she's trying to get. And if we're going to go into feed formulation, it's going to be a whole discussion for another day. But sir, I would like him to...
Just a summary.
Yes, I would like him to know that if you're doing livestock, one of the problems that Nigerians face is this issue of jack of all trade. Producing broilers or layers, trying to formulate feed by yourself. You just look for a nutritionist and you get that, you go and then you give everything. Somehow, sometimes you run into complication. Then he talked about additives in feed that have some chemical residues, and he talked about our inability to export. If you recall, while I was making my presentation, I said if we produce what we consume, we'll be sure what we are consuming.
Yes.
And there is a standard operating procedure. If an animal is on medication, that animal is supposed not to be slaughtered. If you go to some poultry farms, the birds are on medication and people are buying them right on the farm. So, and this is not correct. There is supposed to be a withdrawal period. Maybe it's because of economic hardship that people don't like to engage professional services anymore. I have been into broiler farming since 2012. I have never formulated feed one day. Not because I do not have the knowledge, but I feel it's not my area. Some people are specialists in nutrition, so they do that for me. I have a classmate who is into that, and he does the formulation and all that. So, Emeka, I would advise that you go on commercial feed, but if you want to go on feed formulation yourself, then you get an expert to know the actual formula, and you do that, it will be better. But you truly actually need protein, you need premix, you need energy, you need fiber, you need amino acid and all that. So you put them together before, and this should be 100% of what the animal is needing. So that's that. Then you talk about exportation, why our products are not being accepted because of chemicals and all that. That too I mentioned earlier when I was talking. And I said that many times we are not following the standard that even the companies have set. I am aware that the Controller General of the Nigerian Quarantine Agricultural Services, NAQS, who happens to be a Benue son, has been making significant efforts to create disease-free zones where you can export animals or livestock that does not have disease and does not have chemical residue. He talked about foot and mouth disease, which is a viral disease, and it's common. If you go to some of these Fulani herdsmen, if they want to sell a female animal, you have to be just curious and check very well. It's either the animal is having foot and mouth disease, and they have tried to treat themselves because they do some of the treatments themselves. In fact, most of them, I remember saying here some time ago that before now, we used to take the veterinary students to the field for what we call ambulatory. But since the eruption of the crisis that became so much, late Professor Erastus Gang, who was in the forefront of this, clearly stated that we do not have to go and risk the life of students in the field that way. So we now limit what we do maybe to the international cattle market here and private individuals that have 1 or 2, 3 cattle in form of small fenced environment that we treat lately. So those are issues that are supposed to be handled by veterinarians. If you have any case of foot and mouth disease, just call on me. I will tackle it. I have finished one recently. And if you do that, it will take a period of time for the antibiotic to be withdrawn from the system.
Anyway, let's not go too much into the veterinary aspect of the program.
Just to round up, it's important that we should follow the procedure so that we'll be able to export animals. If we do disease prevention, it will help us to have disease-free animals. That way we can export without having antimicrobial residues in the meat, because the Western world will test the meat before they were lied. Even our yam, you remember, when our professor exported yam and it became an issue in the National Assembly that they rejected the yam for certain reason, and Mr. Gudaji would say, Mr. President, it is a shame that we are exporting yam when we are still hungry. You remember that episode?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now, Uwua, I am with you now. Some of the callers expressed reservations that this program may just be this idea of enrolling farmers, which the Ministry of Youth Development is talking about. Focusing on young people may just be, someone described it as a scam, that previous experiences have shown that it is never achieved. Are you one of the young farmers who believe that policies and programs meant to benefit young farmers have not actually reached them in previous experiences?
Yes, they should not give up. They should not lose hope. There's always need for improvement. And as you can see, the way the country is going, I think the government too is saying what is happening, and we are hopeful that this will not be business as usual. So they should come out in large numbers, visit the portal, and put in their applications. You know, some of these issues stems from the fact that at project formulation, when projects are formulated like this, before the government will finally launch it, they should invite youth groups, youth farmers group associations, then explain the organogram of this program to them, then allow them to give in their input, criticize or room for amendment before they are finally launched. But sometimes they are being cooked in a room like this without any external criticism and being brought before the youth to accept it in all ramifications. Sometimes this is where the fears come from. So the monitor and evaluation, the youth also are supposed even to be engaged in the monitor and evaluation to see that the program is being followed the way it is tailored. So these are some of the reasons why these fears are coming in. Government should not be putting the youth far. They should be carrying them along in all phases of this project, be it formulation, be it implementation, be it evaluation. By doing this, some of these fears will walk away. And even the implementers will know that there's a torchlight on their head to ensure that everything goes in place. So I enjoin them to go out in large numbers and chip in their applications. We are hopeful that it will be something worth venturing into.
All right. So maybe if I should quote the words of the minister when he unveiled this portal in Abuja last Friday, he urged young Nigerians to seize this opportunity to shape the future of agriculture and contribute to national development, and advised that interested individuals can enroll through the portal at www.nieedep.org. So for someone who may be listening to us and maybe wondering where to enroll, we are availing you the information. The essence of this program is actually to make this information available to young people, young farmers in Benue, and how they can take advantage of it. The portal the minister provided is I'm taking it once again, www.nieedep.org. So please find yourself on that platform. If you are within the age bracket of 18 to 35, well, because it says that is a target of young farmers. So maybe try it and let's see your experience, how it could be. Hello, good morning. Hello. Okay, we've lost connection with you already. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Perspectives. 0814-335-9292.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you for joining Perspectives.
Yeah, my name is Udo Titus. I'm calling from Kanshio.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. My concern, one program. I don't think it is appropriate that could be interested or who could have nothing to do else than the agricultural sector. So I think that age bracket, I don't think is appropriate. But that is my opinion anyway. And secondly, I think if government wants to engage in something that will interest everybody or benefit everybody, things like subsidization of agricultural inputs, like fertilizer, seedlings, herbicides, I think that will go a long way in being more inclusive than for you to bring a program that has age limitation and in which during the enrollment, some people may be screened out. That means that even genuine people who have land and all that it takes to engage in agriculture may not eventually benefit from the program. So I think if government can go beyond just enroll and giving of those items into investing that money into subsidization of agricultural products, I think that will go a longer way in being more inclusive than it is now. My take anyway. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Titus. But we should make it clear that for the age, it's young farmers that is targeting. So if you are outside the age bracket, maybe the government does not consider you a young farmer anymore. But thank you all the same for your position.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, government have, and more so, this is coming from the Ministry of Youth Development. Yes. So only that youth, we've seen in political parties where people
stellar for the youth.
All right, you are itching to
yes. I personally also had a concern concerning that age, and when someone expressed some kind of disappointment, I feel strongly that sometimes when we take these decisions, we are over 200 million people. And if you have 6 million people, that is your target. It is most likely that some people, once people don't get something, they believe nobody got. And we are 6 million people. So I want us to also understand that if we are picking 6 million people out of 200 and something million Nigerians, most of whom are young people of this age bracket, it's not going to be fair to say it's completely not going to work. For me, it's a step at a time. But I also want to say that government can actually do better to consider the population, her population. That's why there was a census. In the 2006 census, the data showed that about 30% of Nigerian populace are into farming. Food and Agricultural Organizations say 70% are doing farm-related things. Now, if we have a program of this nature, and some of the people 18 to 25, most of them are in school, I may not want to venture into this. So it is the people who are out of school that will really have time for agriculture correctly. But if we let the policy be the way it is, and I'm sure someone has called from Kano. If somebody can call from Kano, then what is Abuja? People in Abuja are listening to us. They should be able to adjust the program a little bit to accommodate at least up to the age of 40. Or let's say 45. That's the age that has strength to do agriculture. Sure. But if you put it 35, then you're dealing with a lesser population that is still in a greater population that is still in school. 18 is many people are still in the university, up to 20, 25, some of them. Because I know I graduated at above 30 and I couldn't serve. So it's not easy to have.
Well, it is good that you are making the confession in public.
Yes, I don't shy away from that.
So that when eventually you are made minister, no publication will come
I have not had reason to be born again ever since I was born. So, okay. So that concern is genuine, and the minister should have to relook at it and see if he can increase the age bracket so that more people can participate who have time for agriculture and who have tried some things. And they really want to settle for agriculture as its employer.
All right. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Times. Sometimes the network will do this. People will be on, but you seldom get to hear their voices. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Ofega Benjamin.
Hello.
This is Ofega Benjamin.
Ofega Benjamin. Where are you reaching us from?
Yes, I am from Air Force Base. Yes. Okay. We were discussing about some other callers make mention of insecurity, and the guests did not respond to that issue of insecurity, because I discovered that cows and cattle has entered my farm and grazed on my cassava crops, causing significant damage and loss. The incident occurred at my farm location nearest to the base gate. I kindly request for your assistance to address these issues and prevent future occurrence. Because specifically right now at the Fadama area where people farm rice, you can farm cassava, but during this time you see cow moving up and down, destroying and causing damage, and there is no any solution to be done to that. So it's really causing damage for people that are into the farming.
Cool. We sympathize with you, Ofega Benjamin. Sorry about all this.
Yeah.
Thank you. For the yeah. Okay, that will be the last call we engage with because we do not have time again. But Uwua, listening to Ofega, well, you both are not security persons, but the concerns are genuine. Almost half of the callers who called in on the program raised concerns about insecurity, about security of farming communities and farmers. To what extent?
Saying that no meaningful development will take place if there is no security. And then agriculture too, if there is no security, agriculture can hardly strive. From all the callers, we could all agree that major concern was security, because we don't farm in the metropolis. We farm in the villages, far away from the city. We only feed the people in the city. So their concern is worrisome. Before now, government has been trying. We are also heard about the anti-open grazing law. We are appealing to the government to strengthen it more and also look at ways that they can be able to solve this issue, because it's a big problem. It's very, very worrisome. So we are just appealing for more collaborations among the security agencies and the governments and relevant stakeholders, traditional rulers, to see how we can get ourselves out of this mess we have found ourselves.
All right. Now, Dr. Amine, you are a veterinary expert. You are aware that the federal government has established a Ministry of Livestock Development. And here in Benue State, recently, Governor Hyacinth Alia also established a Bureau of Livestock. It has a long name, so I'm not able to get a full name, and has appointed a Director General. To what extent can we have livestock farming cohabit properly with crop farming in Benue State, from your opinion?
First of all, the name of the Bureau is Livestock Development and Transboundary Animal Disease Control.
Oh.
And we appreciate the governor for creating the Bureau. And we continue to appeal to the governor to upgrade it to a ministry, as it is in the federal government. And crop farming are opposing poles. When you talk about livestock, you have those that are naturally herbivorous. Ruminants, small ruminants, sheep and goat, large ruminant, cattle and all that. They eat grass, and they see rice as grass, they see millet as grass, they see all these things as grass.
Your name is Amine.
Yes. So to that extent, the only way they can coexist is for one to be housed or given his own area to feed and leave the farm alone. So what we're encouraging is to develop like other countries where we can have ranches and we can have some space if the animal has its own space. If you have a ranch, it's not just a building. There's a space where the animals will graze. You also provide feeding for them, So, and the person that talked about security, I think he was not fair to us in the guest, because we actually opened up that conversation and said one of the problems is insecurity.
Yes.
And that's the much you could do as discussants.
Absolutely.
And then we only draw attention of government. So if we want to do livestock farming in large scale, I have said it in other fora, that the food that the cattle eat is for them to convert it either into milk or meat. When you're doing open grazing and traveling long distances, you're only doing maintenance and energy. That's why some of the animals do not look even big. So if we have a special ministry that is dedicated for development of livestock, in which case you're going to raise the local livestock to a standard of either producing more milk or more meat and providing housing for animals. In fact, we are having welfare issues. We need to have a better welfare for animals. Look at the way people transport livestock without rest long distance. You see some goat on top of a roof of a car, tie them rope like this, and they'll just be shaking as they move. So those are the concerns. For the cohabitation, for them to live together, is for animals to have their housing and their space, and for crop to have its space. And you actually require more land for crop farming than you need for livestock farming if you choose to house these animals. But if you insist that there must be open grazing, then we'll continue to have those clashes. But now we have to also accept the reality that ranching is expensive. You cannot wake up today and just say, I have a ranch.
Yes, sure.
So it's capital intensive. You have to provide for yourself, being the farmer, or government assist you to have a space where you can keep these animals in confinement, and they have a special space where they can go and feed. We call them paddocks or feedlots, and they can go there and feed and go back to their housing, and then you provide whatever feed they need. That way you will see them put on very good weight over time, and they can produce large quantities of milk. Some of the fura de nono that we see around, those cattle don't produce up to 50 liters a day. Whereas if they have good feeding, they can do better, and you get more money, and this has been proven. Alternatively, if we have a good resolution process, because it's going to take a while for all this to be established, then cattle farmers and crop farmers or livestock farmers should have an understanding. This period is not the best for you to come to this area, and then you maintain so that we can have good harvest. By and large, we all need food, and this food is not only carbohydrate, we also need protein, animal protein.
Our time is really up, but Mr. Uwua, I will give you just 1 minute to give us your concluding thoughts. With this program, the government is bringing to enroll young farmers. What should be the targeted areas of farming for young people?
Yes, I've not really taken my time to see the area of interest, be it crop, livestock, or maybe rice or cassava. But I believe it will encompass crop and livestock as well, because just like Dr. Amine say, you cannot be doing animal alone or doing crop alone. When you cook your rice, at least you need the chicken on it, vice versa. So we are finding ourselves in a very difficult situation. The removal of subsidy have caused a lot of untold hardship, and youths being the most vulnerable group. And I see the government in her wisdom has decided to target them since they are more vulnerable. So, and they're already depressed already. So they should take this project with all seriousness and ensure that the data of collection is scattered around all the local government, so that beneficiaries will not be clustered in one place, because some of the callers have already given their reservations. It could be a political thing, but it should not be. We are praying that it should go a long way to bring succor to them, especially at this very, very difficult stage in the life of our youth.
All right. This is where we wrap it up. I'd like to thank my discussants on the program. Dr. Andrew Amine is a crop and livestock farmer. He is the state chairman, Nigerian Veterinary Medical Association, Benue State Chapter, and a lecturer at the Joseph Sawan Taka University.
And the master of ceremony.
Thank you very much, Dr. Amine, for coming on Perspectives.
Thank you very much.
Emmanuel Uwua is a president, Agriculture Graduates Cooperative Society. He is a young farmer as well. We appreciate your valuable time and insight.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, listener, that's our program today. Join us Wednesday for a fresh edition of the program. And maybe before we go, you may, like we called out the website earlier, you may be wondering what this program is about. Log on to the portal www.niyeedep.org. Log on to it and find for yourself the best way you can enroll for what the government is targeting for young farmers. I am Nathaniel Nongu. Have yourself a great week ahead. Goodbye.